Hello, welcome back to another vlog. We are Group 5 and today we will be talking all about media and information literacy as citizen engagement. Before we move on, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kurong Vlogger ng Free. Enjoy!
I learned how to read and write at the age of 3. When I was 2, according to my parents, I had learned the numbers 1 to 100 and the letters A to D.
I think around the age of 3 or 4, that is when I attempted to read and write, those scribbling. But I think maybe around the age of 5, that's when I started going to school, and that is how the school taught me how to read and write.
I learned when I was at primary school. Firstly, I learned the alphabet by being able to recognize how each letter sounded. After that, I practiced how to actually write these letters, and then I started memorizing them and started learning them.
School is where I learned the various things that I know today, but at the beginning, it is where I learned the simple things like reading and writing. But the learning does not stop there. When I was a kid, I remember when my grandma or my lola would jot down lines on a piece of paper for me to trace over and over, and that is how I learned how to write my own name. And then my tita would make me read magazines and books aloud, so I would learn how to pronounce and read them properly. School is where I learned how to be better at what I do, and at home is where I took the steps to learn them.
If I were to pick between the two, to be honest, I'd rather choose writing than reading. It is because I'm not reader type of person. When it comes to writing, I feel like it is a way for me to express my feelings.
Well, I would rather read because with that I can gain more knowledge, which maybe can help in my everyday living or can help me to have more ideas about projects and schoolwork. But I'll still practice writing, because with reading you can learn writing, and with writing you can learn reading as well.
Give or take whatever is necessary for my day-to-day needs, I would rather write than read. Albeit reading gives you a benefit when it comes to learning, writing also gives and maybe even improve your life in a sense. Writing gives you an opportunity to express yourself without anyone, in a sense, criticizing you. It gives you a chance to express what you like or what you hate without having any consequences. Writing is as important as to having the ability to talk or even read. Written communications is a thing, and it is very important when it comes to expressing thoughts and ideas.
I would preferably choose reading over writing, and let me tell you why. When you want to fulfill or fill your mind with creativity, stories, knowledge, and information, amongst many other things, what you do is you read. And in my case, I want to fuel my mind with all the stories, the creativity, information, and knowledge, rather than my mind being a place of negativity and chaos. And probably because I'm not a very expressive person, that is why I enjoy reading more than writing. I enjoy filling myself with all the tales and knowledge, whether it be for entertainment or for educational purposes, rather than putting a piece of myself out there through writing.
For me, I think the most important and meaningful things that I can do with having the ability to read and write is, of course, to gain the ability to learn and be curious. Reading a book makes someone curious about the book. which in return makes that person want to learn more about the contents, like its knowledge and context of the book. And its end result is the person gaining knowledge that might be important in his or her life. When it comes to writing, one gains the ability to communicate with someone in written form, which is called communication. Whether it be in a book or a poem or its other counterparts, it's the ebook or even the internet, one can connect to its contents and maybe or even probably affect someone into understanding something, whether it be a knowledge or wisdom of someone else, better, which could be a beneficial thing that one can do with the power of having literacy or having the ability to read or write.
For me, I think one meaningful thing that we can do with the ability to read and write is trying to connect with the world, with the different passages and the different medias that we see. With the ability to read and write, we can express our thoughts, and yeah, we can try to connect with the world and trying to comprehend what they want to convey to us with their message.
People who read tend to do better at school and professionally. The rise in technology means increased demands for higher literacy, and consequences are grievous for those who fall short. Improving your reading and writing skills also goes hand in hand with developing your communication skills. The more you read and write, the more you broaden your vocabulary and are able to articulate concepts accurately and more effectively to others. Increasing your ability to communicate also helps make you a better worker or a student.
It is to learn and to share. With reading, you get to know people, you get to know places, culture, history, events, and even meaning of words, and also the littlest or grandest of things. You can learn what it means through opening a book or by clicking an article. Everything we read is something that we can learn from. With writing, you share knowledge, information, entertainment, or a part of yourself amongst everyone that you share it with. These are two fundamental components that most people has, and I think that it is important to use these abilities to fulfill our responsibilities, to learn and to share what you have learned. Literacy is the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy involves a continuum of learning in enabling individuals to achieve their goals, to develop their knowledge and potential, and to participate fully in their community and wider society.
Being literate means more than just knowing how to read and write. Literacy is social because the mind itself is social. I interpret this as a meaning. Literacy can be thought of in many contexts. There are multiple literacies. Literacy is a social construction, and being literate means having the ability to produce, interpret, and understand language appropriately. For these different social contexts, when I say language, I'm referring to any way of allowing information to be seen or experienced. This could be a written language in the form of a text, computer, programming language, art, music, or any other way.
Being literate is more than being able to read and write. With the world today, we are so diverse with the cultures and the technologies that we have. Being a literate individual means that we need to have a deeper understanding and to have a deeper connection with the different medias. There are specific things that we need to learn in order for us to be more advanced in how we understand the world.
Being literate means more than just knowing how to read and how to write. G 2014 said, Literacy is social because the mind itself is social. We interpret this as meaning literacy can be thought of in many contexts. There are multiple literacies. Literacy is a social construction, and being literate means having the ability to produce, to interpret, and understand language appropriately for this different social context. When we say language, we refer to it as any way of allowing information to be seen or to be experienced. This could have been written language in a form of a text. A computer programming language could be form of art, music, or any other way. G also stated that we share interpretations with others who have worked to form them, support them, and to nourish them. So not only does the social aspect of our world make for multiple literacies, but it also makes for many ways of interpreting language and text. You learn to become literate through experiencing other people. And each of these people you learn from has experiences with many other people as well. This makes it so that there are many interpretations of language, and we believe being truly literate means you have an understanding of the language or the text deep enough to question or and form your own understanding or interpretation.
So, have you ever wondered who is behind these advertisements? So, there are actually some questions that usually come across our mind when we are seeing such advertisements. Who created these advertisements? What creative techniques were used to attract my attention? How do people appreciate and understand these messages? What are the kinds of perspectives that are being represented in this message? And lastly, why is this message being sent? So these questions are the building blocks for the analysis of media and information texts. This will form a foundation between how you are trying to understand the message and how it is explained to you. With these 5 key questions, it will form a foundation of an inquiry-based engagement with media texts. So how is media literacy used as an instrument for empowerment? Let's take this as an example. Does it ever occur to you what is inside the frame of the camera? Why do we only see that certain angle or that certain scene placed within the frame? The thing is, the producer of the photos are the ones who control what we see. Let us say the photo on the left side is what everyone sees, but in reality, the photographer actually took the right side of the photo, where it seems like the photographer only wanted us to focus on a certain subject. Let us try to apply this in media. The different types of media we see each day only gives us a piece of information that people will need in order to comprehend the message that they want to convey. People don't explain their story like from the moment they wake up until their day ends. They tend to tell the significant moments in their lives. Like in photography, the people who create the photos are also the people who control what we see. They choose what to show and how to show it. That is why media literacy is an instrument tool for empowerment. It gives us the power and the authority to create and control media. We are in a position where it is up to us when it comes to producing the media. That is why we need to learn more about media literacy. We should not abuse the power to create media. Because again, once you show the whole world what you produced, there is no turning back.
Today I will be presenting what is media. Media are the communication outlets or tools used to gather, store, and deliver information or data. The term refers to components of the mass media communications industry, such as print media, publishing, the news media, photography, cinema, broadcasting such as radio or television, digital media, and advertising. So, this singular use is now common in the fields of mass communication and advertising, but it is not frequently found outside them. The media is or are not anti-businesses. So its usage as a word to describe newspapers, radio, and other sources of information likely derives from the term mass media, which was a technical term used in advertising industries from the 1920s on. The word media refers to any form of communication that delivers information. Common media outlets include, as stated, newspapers, radio, television, magazines, and internet sources like blogs or online publications. So today, social media is a term that many people are familiar with. This describes information distributed on social networking websites.
Why is empowerment such a big word? When we usually go for the term empowerment, it is usually the idea of power due to its root term. Empowerment is hinged on the idea that power can change or fluctuate, that the ownership of power can shift from one entity or another. Empowerment is also possible because power can expand or diminish, as the case may be. When it comes to power, the term power, we often think about control, influence, and domination. Power is not always relational. One needs to cultivate a notion of power within to fully realize what true power is. Indeed, power can reside inside you, given the opportunity to have access to knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Hence, the reason why empowerment is such a big word is because you can be affected by it, especially in media literacy education. We sometimes use this power irresponsibly, creating fake news and stuff, which empowers more people to create more negative information, which could uh, in a sense influence more people into thinking that this false information is true and what actually is true is false.
Information literacy. What is information literacy, you might ask? Information literacy includes the ability to identify, find, evaluate, and use information effectively. From effective search strategies to evaluation techniques, students learn how to evaluate the quality, credibility, and validity of websites and give proper credit. Information literacy has also been referred to as digital literacy or media literacy. Regardless of the terminology, be it digital literacy or media literacy, having information literacy skills are the fundamental skill to thrive in a digital space. Today's digital landscape offers young people unprecedented access to tools and resources for learning. The information that people encounter, however, is not always accurate or high quality. Foundational information on digital literacy skills, such as conducting strategies, online searches, studying the legitimacy of online sources, stif- s- sifting out misinformation, and recognizing advertising, can help set people up for success as lifelong learners. For example, people can learn to search effectively and efficiently with the right kinds of keywords. They also can learn that sponsored links are forms of ads and therefore not always the best resources. When people also get in the habit of checking out an author's credibility or bias, Questioning whether a photo has been digitally altered or cross-reference sources that can avoid being misinformed or dubbed.
Information literacy enables people to interpret and make informed judgments as users of information sources, as well as to become producers of information in their own right. Information literate people are able to access information about their health, about their government, and their education and work, empowering them to make a critical decision about their lives and many others. In taking in more responsibility for their own health and education. In a digital world much like today, information literacy requires users to have the skills to use information and communication technologies and their applications to access and create information. For example, the ability to navigate in cyberspace and negotiate hypertext multimedia documents. It requires both the technical skills to use the internet as well as the literacy skills to interpret that information.
What is computer literacy? Computer literacy means having the set of skills and knowledge necessary to use and acknowledge the basic functions of the information and communication technologies or ICT devices like the PC or personal computer, laptops, smartphones, etc. It is divided into two subtopics. We have hardware literacy and software literacy. Hardware literacy is obviously having the knowledge of the features of the PC or laptop, like the mouse, the keyboard, and the monitor. While the software literacy is having the knowledge of the applications that can be found in these electronic devices. It could range from word processing applications like Microsoft Word, PowerPoints, spreadsheets, and to editing programs which could be found in both your PC, laptops, and smartphones. In short, it's basically having the knowledge on how to use these electronic devices without having the need to ask someone for help.
When we analyze information, we must make sure that the information that we receive is reliable or not.
Analyzing information is important in business to understand problems facing an organization and to explore information in meaningful ways.
Learning to analyze information is important not only in having a safe and secure browsing experience, but also having the ability to confidently use the internet without having to encounter negative information which is not only false but could even influence other people into thinking that it's actually true.
Millions of information are on the internet. Just one search, one click, and boom, there you are. A pool of information. These informations can either help you or drown you. That is why it is significant to analyze information that you see, because blindly believing everything or something that you see online can be damaging, especially if you share this information. It can cause panic, a false sense of truth, and it can cause even greater damages than this. So remember to always be cautious with what you read and what you believe.
So, in short, media and information literacy plays a part in spreading information, whether for a cause or for a problem that needs to be solved.
With media and information literacy, it helps us connect with other people. With media, we are able to engage with the thousands of people on the other side of the world. It truly helps us create relationships that will benefit us in the future. It will also certainly help us grow as an individual as well.
Media and information literacy enables every single person to safely and easily share information or news about current issues or events that needs to be given importance, particularly our situation today, where interactions with other people are limited. But with media and information literacy, we can still come together and raise the reach of awareness even further.
So we all know that media and information literacy is defined as the ability to assess, analyze, and create media. Every citizen has the right to freedom of information and expression. Every citizen can post whatever they want on social media, but always remember to think first before posting because some people will not usually agree to your ideas and opinions. So they illustrate that various stakeholders needs to be involved so that the citizens can critically access, use, and participate in the flow of information on a broad scale.
And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Bye!